My name is Nora Emilie. I am Miss Universe Norway, and this is my interview with the Pageant project.
Hello, everyone. It's Adrian from the Pageant project, and my special guest for today is Nora Emilie, who is Miss Universe Norway 2021. Nora, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You are my first Norwegian interview. So I had my first Dutch interview. I'll be having my first Danish interview soon, and now my first Norwegian interview. What's the weather like in Norway at the moment?
Oh, here it's freezing cold. I think it's around 0 degrees or something, and it's snowing for some part of the day, so it's really cold.
Are you a winter person or a summer person?
100% a summer person. Really a summer person.
So how much summer do you get in Norway? Do you get any summer? Do you get any warm weather? Or is it like the UK? You get like 2 days of summer the whole year?
I think maybe Norway is kind of the same as UK. We have almost, I think, 2, 3 really hot days, and some, some in the middle, a little bit warm, but it's not a warm summer here.
Okay, so basically don't move to Norway if you want warm weather, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, Nora, obviously Miss Universe is... Actually, I probably can ask you this. How many days is it until you leave? Do you know?
It's about 2.5 weeks. I'm leaving at the 28th of November, so it's really close. And yeah, the dice flying away.
How are you feeling about it? It's only 2.5 weeks away to the biggest competition in the pageant industry. How are the nerves? How are you feeling?
I'm super excited for this, and I think it's gonna be an amazing journey. And the journey so far has been amazing too. And it's so close, and the nerves, I'm feeling them. They are kind of coming, but yeah.
Have you managed to connect with any of the other contestants so far?
Actually, we have a group chat together with around, I think, 35 girls. So we are chatting with each other, and the weird thing about this is like everyone is awake, all the day and or all the time. So, it's always something, and someone is writing in the group chat. So I think that's just amazing, actually.
Well, because I guess you're all spread across different time zones, but you also famously, you never sleep either. Are you still... What time did you get to bed last night?
I think that's a secret. That's too bad it's told.
That
So,
bad, huh?
yes, it is.
I guess you'll be catching up on a lot of sleep after Miss Universe, I imagine. Or will you still be not sleeping after Miss Universe?
I think I'm gonna be really, need a lot of sleep after, because things is going on all the day right now. So no time for sleeping here. So yeah, maybe we take it up after the Miss Universe.
You'd just be sleeping for an entire month. Have you managed to work out maybe who's going to be your Miss Universe bestie, like your Miss Universe best friend? I mean, you said you have a group chat. Do you have any guesses as to who you're going to end up being best friends with?
I'm not sure yet, but maybe Australian, that can happen. Or Sweden, because Sweden is, the closest country to Norway. And I think maybe Sweden. We haven't talked yet, but I think we will make a great, together.
Is the Swedish language similar to the Norwegian language? I have no...
Um, Actually, it's kind of the same, but it's still very different.
idea. Look, sorry, Nora, I just dropped out for a second. Did you... I'm back. So just so I know, so Sweden and Norway, the languages, they are similar or they're not similar?
We can understand each other like 99%. Some words are totally different, and you know the way we pronounce different words is totally different, but we understand each other.
Oh, okay. That sounds almost like the difference between different Chinese. Like they can. It's a bit different with Chinese. The written language is exactly the same, but different people pronounce it differently. Can you give us an example of a word that you would pronounce differently to the Swedish?
For example, in Norway, we are saying "hallo." It means hi, and
Yeah.
in Sweden, they're saying hey, hey, yeah, something like that.
Hey.
Hey, and in Norway, we are saying for the word girl, we are saying jente, and they're saying slicka or tjej.
And
So,
that's a completely different word. Let's get you to teach us some Norwegian. So, how do you say hello? My name is Nora in Norwegian.
we're saying it. Hallo, mitt navn er Nora.
Say that again.
Hallo, mitt navn er Nora.
It almost sounds a bit German.
You think so?
My I think German. I'm trying to remember my very, very like minimal German. German. I think mein Name ist. I think they'd say my Name ist Nora. So it just sounds slightly similar.
Mhm.
Let me just go to the comments for a second. Erica has said, "Hello. I would love to visit Norway one day. If someone did want to visit Norway,
Mhm.
what are the things that you recommend that they do, see, or even eat?"
I love the capital of Norway. I'm actually living in a place 5 hours ago from the capital, but I would recommend visiting Oslo, the capital of Norway, and go to a place called Operan. And that's the opera in Norway, the ballet and everything. And you know, the architecture of the building is
Yeah.
amazing. And you can walk on the roof or on the building. So you can see out of the
Oh wow,
sea and everything, and it's just beautiful. So I would recommend that. Go and visit the opera.
that sounds amazing. We do have it's a pageant interview, so we have to talk about food because food is very important to pageant girls. So
Yes.
what are Norwegian foods? Are there any foods that Norway is famous for?
Um, uh, we have something called fårikål, and that is actually meat and kale together in just that two ingredients in a big bowl. So yes, and we have
Meat
another.
and kale.
Yes.
That sounds quite healthy. Okay.
hmm So that's something Norwegian people eat on, if they're gonna celebrate something or for Christmas or yeah. And we also have something called, how to explain it? Ribbe. It's just kind of the same as rib, for Christmas eating. It's actually pig when you make a huge meat piece of the pig in the oven for around 8 hours, and yeah. So this is some kind
Oh,
of
okay.
food Norwegian people are eating.
Do you have any sweets or cakes or desserts? Because pageant girls love their sweets. Are there any like Norwegian sweets?
We have different sweets, but I think the Norwegian actually loves chocolate. And we have, big fabrics here in Norway making chocolate. And Norwegian actually eat a lot of chocolate, I think. So yeah, we are having it for, regular days or for Christmas and birthdays. And yeah, you always have the, milk chocolate. So I think that's
Hmm.
the kind of thing Norwegian are really fascinated about.
It's probably one thing that you can't eat a lot of in the lead up to Miss Universe is chocolate. You can have a little bit of it, but probably not too much.
Mhm.
Nora, let's start with the easy question.
Okay.
Sorry. How did you get into pageantry to begin with?
For me, the dream started for about, I think, 10 years ago when I was 13 years old. And I couldn't wait to turn 17 to 18 years old so I could enter my first pageant. And I think the first time I really opened my eyes for pageantry was when I saw the show, and the girls was amazing, walking over the stage and everything. So I started as a model in the age of 14, and yeah, but when you're working as a model, you don't get the opportunity to like influence others or use your voice at the same way. So when I was discovering that pageantry is about both, using your voice, influencing the youth or the people, and the modeling and the catwalk poses and everything together, my mind was blown away, and I was like, whoa, this is something I really want to do. Get like everything I'm fascinated about and passionate about together in one package, actually.
How big is the pageant industry in Norway? I mean, because obviously going into universe, there are countries like the Philippines, Venezuela, the United States, where pageantry is huge. And then there's countries where the industry, let's just say, is not quite as big as those countries. So how
Mhm.
big is the pageant industry in Norway?
Here in Norway, we actually don't have a big, the industry for pageantry isn't that big in Norway. It's kind of very few girls doing pageantry here in Norway. We have, I don't know how many girls who actually is competing for Miss Universe Norway every year, but I don't think it's that many people. And we don't have, like the culture for it. It isn't here in Norway. So it's kind of, I think, very different for example, compared to Venezuela.
Can you think of any reason why maybe it's not so big in Norway or Denmark or Sweden? I don't think in any of those, or the Netherlands, I don't think in any of those countries pageantry is particularly big. Do you think there's any sort of cultural reason for it, or you just think maybe it hasn't taken off yet?
I think this is about the culture in Norway,
Mm.
because the Norwegian culture is actually like you shouldn't stand too much out from others, and you should
Ah.
be like, a little bit more reserved, a little bit more to yourself, and don't stick out too much. So I think maybe that is, the culture is blending in with the pageantries, and that's, the perfect match actually. So I think maybe Denmark and Sweden has kind of the same culture as the Norwegian has. So maybe that's one of the reasons why pageantry isn't that big here in Norway.
I think that's very similar to, at least in Australia. In Australia, it's all about, mateship, I like to say. So we
Mhm.
actually have something here called tall poppy syndrome, which means if you stand out too much, we have to cut you back down to size. Whereas in America, it's very, very different, very, very strong entrepreneurial spirit. And you're encouraged to dream and believe anything is possible. So that's pageant history. Let's take a quick look also at your project. So it's the Bear Buddy. I'm going to bring it up on screen and I will let you just describe it. Tell people watching a little bit about the story behind the Bear Buddy and what made you start it.
The story behind the Bear Buddy, or the idea behind the Bear Buddy, is that people who suffer from mental health issues may have like a friend or a starting place. This will be kind of the bears that you're able to, speak to and open up and, train about talking about your mental health issues with, as kind of a buddy, that's listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can practice talking about your mental health with. So those small safe bears are, yeah, kind of a little buddy that always will listen to you and be there for you.
They look amazing. I've said this before. They look so pretty. I mean, these ones, are they the bear or these lollies? These ones, these are lollies here, right?
These are lollies. They are.
Okay. All right. But these ones, for example, like I love this one that's covered in all the little sparkly bits. The bear, I've seen the names. This so glitter nights,
Mhm.
golden, late nights talk, ocean talk. Girls' night is a pink one. Coffee date, that's probably the one that I need to have. Autumn coziness and always here. Um, how long did it take you to put the whole store together?
Oh, that was taking a lot of hours. It was taking a lot of time because, I'm totally new to setting up a store like this, so I had to learn, the program before I even started. So, but I have always had kind of a, entrepreneur spirit inside. So my dream was always to put up a store. So to be able to do it for a reason like this was to me amazing. And yeah, but it was hard, and you meet, of course, a lot of bumps in the road. So you have to overcome them before you're learning how to do it. So yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by bumps in the road. Can you tell us a little bit more? Obviously, a lot of people watching will be from overseas. So you've partnered with Mental Health. I don't, how do I pronounce that word?
Mental helse.
And it's not Norge, is it? How do I pronounce that word?
It's mean Norway in English, or Norway in the Norwegian. So it's Norge.
Norike. Okay, so it's not Norge. It's definitely not Norge. Dear me, my Norwegian is obviously not very good. But tell us a little bit more about this organization and what made you decide to partner with them.
Mental Helse Norge is a non-profit organization here in Norway that works on different areas within mental health awareness. They are, for example, working with actually all ages, from the youth and children to up to as old as you can be.
Mhm.
Yes. And they have different topics. They are working with people who don't have a place to live, and they are working with people who don't or suffer from different reasons, for example, eating disorders or suffering from
Mhm.
depression and everything. So they are covering such a huge part of the mental topics. So for me, it was quite natural to partner up with them because they are covering so many different areas, and makes it possible to reach a huger audience because they have so many different things they are working with. So yeah.
I heard the other day, and I don't know if this is true, that countries such as Norway and the other Nordic countries, normally when they have surveys about how happy the country is or how content the people are, that Norway and other Scandinavian countries are often at the very, very top in terms of how happy the country is. So hearing that, how big an issue is mental health in Norway? Is it still a really big issue, or is it maybe not as big an issue as maybe some other countries?
I think Norway actually has the same issues with mental health issues in Norway as other countries. But I think people are afraid of telling it that they are suffering. And the Norwegian people is maybe a little bit reserved, and we don't
Hmm.
want to catch attention or don't want anyone to help us if or kind of way. So I think people don't want to tell if they are struggling, and it's much more easy to just say that no, everything is fine, and continue their life instead of saying that no, my life isn't that great. So I think maybe some people are telling that they're better maybe than they actually are.
Mm.
So maybe we have some, black numbers that we don't see and don't discover on these surveys. So I'm not sure, but I think maybe that could be a reason.
Is that why? Is that part of the reason why you decided to start the Bear Buddy? So that, I mean, you already mentioned that the purpose of the bear, apart from looking cute, is so that you can actually talk to something and begin that process of opening up about mental health issues. So, is that part of the reason that you decided to start the Bear Buddy, was to encourage people to start talking about their mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, opening up to people isn't that easy. And you need kind of some practicing before you dare to open up. And
Hmm.
people think that their problems are maybe too big or too small for the world or for the universe, actually. So maybe people are thinking that their problem isn't, maybe it isn't place for it in the society. So I think, or that is actually one of the reasons for why I started the Bear Buddy, so people could
Right.
see it. And I think when you see something and are getting exposed for something over time, for example, like a buddy or something, that maybe something in your mind will change and think that maybe it's okay to talk about it. So if people don't buy it, maybe they just see it, and maybe that even
Yeah.
can influence people to maybe think one more time and accept that it's okay to, speak about it.
Is there a lot of help available in Norway for people who are suffering with mental health issues? Are there things like phone lines or text lines or even internet chat? Are there advertisements on TV and things like that encouraging people to talk more about their mental health?
Yes, actually, we have all of that. And we have, I think, around 7 to 8 phone numbers that you can call for different categories. Like,
Right.
you know, so we have a lot of, sources that people can use. But it's hard maybe for people to actually do it, or actually to contact somebody by phone or by chat, or,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think people just need to take the first step to really dare to do it. But it is possible here in Norway to get into recovery, and we have the sources for it. But yeah, I don't know if people actually use it.
It's as you said, it's difficult, especially if you're going to talk on the phone,
Mhm.
because it can feel embarrassing, and or you feel ashamed, or you because if you're going to pick up the phone, you have to admit that you do have a problem in the first place, and that can be very, very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Just with the, well, I want to bring up the bears again. So Nora, with the bears, um, this just from the fashion sense, do you put them on as earrings around your neck? Do they fit on phones? What are the different places that you can have the bears?
Actually, I have one bear right here, so I can show you.
Oh,
It's a
hang on.
ring
Let me bring you
on
up here.
the upside here. It's a ring, so you are able to like use them for. Oops.
Yep.
You can use them for example, hair, or you can put something in it, and then you can use it as an earring. So you can actually use it for different things. So yeah, and you can bring it with you where you wanna have it. So yeah,
Are you going to take some of them over to Israel? Give them
yeah,
away as gifts?
yes, that's one of the plans.
How many are you taking over?
I was thinking about maybe 20 to 30. So I have both them, and they are with me in my luggage. So yeah, I hope people wanna have them actually.
Well, they look really pretty. So I think the difficulty for you is going to be deciding who to give them to. I
That's
mean,
true.
there's what? How many countries are there competing? I can't remember.
Maybe around 80, I think. 85.
Okay, so
I'm not.
you have to pick your 20 best friends to give. You can't take over. Can you take over 80 or 90 and give one girl each, or is that too many?
Maybe I can. So yeah, we will see.
Uh, Erica here has asked, is pageants big in Norway? We discussed that a little bit before. She's also asked, how did you get involved in Miss Universe?
Involved, like how I got into it.
Yeah, what was the process for how did you see it? How did you apply for it? And then I guess what was the Norwegian competition like?
I was participating in Miss Universe Norway, and that competition was just amazing. And for me, I was, seeing this on the TV and finding out that this is something I really want to do. So for me, I decided at an early age to, apply for this and to get into this, and that
Hmm.
this is something I really want to do during my life. So my goal for so many years has been to participate in Miss Universe. So this is a dream that has been there for a long time.
So, how can you describe how you felt? I assume this is when you had the crown placed on your head.
Yes.
What were you thinking? How were you feeling at this moment?
At that moment, I think this is one of the most shocking and happiest moment of my life. At first, I couldn't believe it. It took me days to actually realize that this was actually happening and it's real. And when they were saying my name, I was kind of waiting for the "it's been a mistake" sentence, that I was the first
Oh,
runner-up and not the Miss Universe Norway. So it felt just amazing. And yeah, so yeah, it's amazing.
how long did it take you to actually believe that it was you, that they hadn't made a mistake?
I think it took almost a week actually, because you are so in shock in such a long time. And you get all these messages when you're winning this, and people from all around
Mm.
the world are sending congratulations, and yeah, but I couldn't kind of believe it. And it was sinking in during the next week, or yeah, 6 to 7 days, I think I used for landing actually.
I mean, you do look very, very surprised. This
Yeah,
is the actual moment, right? This is when you were announced as the winner.
yeah. It is.
Your mouth is open very, very wide in shock. It looks like. Did you have to give a speech or walk after being announced as the winner?
Yes, I had to walk, and as you see, my hands are full of flowers and gifts and
Yeah.
amazing things. So I didn't expect this at all. So I was like, okay, what do I do with all this? And I have to like hold up my dress a little bit because it's too long. So I had all this thing going on with the flowers and everything, and I was like, oh my God, what should I do? So yeah, so I had my final walk, or yeah, the
First walk, not your final
first
walk.
walk.
You're not handing over just yet. First walk. Did you cry at all? Because this is what happens a lot of the time when people are announced as the winners. There's a lot of tears. It doesn't look like you're crying though. It looks like you're just really, really happy.
I can't remember actually. I think I wasn't crying, but I think I was super happy. Maybe some happy tears after when I was at the hotel. So
You can't remember. How
no,
much can you remember? What, you can't remember any of it? You were just so much in shock.
I remember holding her hands to Angelica, the first runner-up,
Yeah,
and I remember I was looking at her face, and I was like, "Okay, good luck," almost to both of us.
yeah.
Then I just remember they said my name, and I was like super shocked, and it's kind of a blackout moment. Some yeah, and then I'm starting to get kind of more back to myself in a little later, and then I realized that whoa, what is happening? This is really my dream coming to reality. So it felt
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That's definitely you.
Mm.
This is not a joke. It's not a mistake. How long ago was this? So this was back in August. So it's only about 3 months ago. But how obviously you've been getting ready for Miss Universe in Israel. It's the
Yes.
biggest pageant competition in the world, in the universe. How do you feel you've changed or grown as a person just over the last, let's say, 3 months?
Um, Being a participant in Miss Universe, I think that made me more, secure about myself, because you have to stand in it, and you have to do your best and work really hard with things you haven't done before. And for me,
Mm,
it's a lot of, press and messages and everything. And you have to walk out from your, comfort zone and really do your best. And I think that's something that learned me to be a little bit more secure about myself, and maybe a
hmm.
little bit more confident, kind of, in my own
Yeah,
skin, actually. So, yes.
yeah. Give people an idea how much hard work has been going on behind the scenes, because I think a lot of people look at pageant girls, they see the pretty girls, the pretty crown, the pretty sash, the pretty dress, and they just think, oh, it's very easy. All you have to do is go on stage, walk around, smile, wave, and that's it. How much hard work has been going on behind the scenes?
I think this is kind of the same as a full-time job because I'm
Hmm.
working, I think maybe 8 hours every day with the competition and preparation. And it's so much. And I think that's some kind of what we are making it to, and what your platform is like, and what you want to focus on. But it's a lot of preparation with, walking and question on stage and the poses and wardrobe and,
Mm,
platform, your advocacy. Everything has to be prepared to the maximum, actually. So, yes. So I think it's so much preparation that you have to do. And yeah, it's so different. It's covering a lot of different areas. And yeah.
yeah. I think you are definitely going to be sleeping very well once this is over. It sounds like you're going to need to catch up on some sleep. Um, have you given any thought to what part of the competition you're most excited about in Israel?
That must be the evening gown, I think. And the question from, or, the interview with,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that must be the two things I'm most excited for. I'm looking really much forward to that, especially the long gown on stage catwalk. So, yeah, that would be amazing.
The gown is the one that everyone wants to keep secret for the big
Yes.
reveal on
Mhm.
stage. Uh, how many suitcases are you going to be taking over to fit all of these things?
I think it's gonna be three. So, two big ones and one small. So, yes, I think three.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad, especially for a competition as big as Miss Universe. Well, Nora, just before we go to the final 10 questions, I like to give everyone a chance to just give shout outs. So thank yous to people who've been supporting them or to their team. So is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to just before we do the final 10 questions?
Oh, it must be my family, my mom and dad and my sister. They has been a huge part of this, and they are supporting real much. And I have to give a shout out to the Rebirth of the Princess for making my dress. It's really, yeah, gonna be an amazing gown. And yeah, I have to give a shout out to you too. So,
That's
and
okay. That's not why I asked this question. Not that you don't have to give a shout out to me. It's okay. It's for everyone else.
everyone else. And my grandparents has been a huge part of this. They are actually so supportive, and my grandma is sending a lot of messages and be like, "Oh, you can do this, and come on, girl, you are doing fantastic. I saw you on the live show," and yeah, so they're so supportive. And I have to give a big shout out to all my friends who is supporting really much during this. I really appreciate it.
Do your family and friends understand pageantry? Do they get it? Like, especially your dad. Very
Yeah,
often, dads they don't really understand. They're supportive, but they really don't get it. So, your friends and family, do they really understand pageantry and why it's so important to you, or are they just sort of supporting you and they just go, "Hey, you do you"?
I think in 2016 when I first was entering my first pageant, my dad didn't understand it at all, and he was like, "What? Why are you doing this? And what is your goal with this and everything?" And I was
Mm,
explaining it to him and telling him that this isn't just about a girl walking on stage. This is so much more. This is like a full package with,
mm,
everything actually that's pageantry is about. And I was explaining this to him, and he had changed his mind kind of over the years,
hmm.
and now he's super supportive. And yeah, so he's asking every day about how is it going, how did you do that, and how was that interview, or did that, yeah. So I think he's actually the most supportive person right now. So yeah,
Oh wow.
that's kind of
Okay.
amazing. Hmm.
That's unusual. Do you think that he's seen you grown over the last 4 or 5 years through pageantry?
He has actually said that to me, that he has seen that. So yeah. So
That's
I
got
hope
to
that.
be a good feeling.
That's true.
Are you having any friends and family able to fly over to Israel to support you?
My mom and dad and sister is actually coming over to support me during this pageant.
Oh,
So
wow.
they are
Okay.
there for living the or for being there watching it live. So that's
Yeah.
something I really appreciate. And yeah, it's gonna be
Mm,
amazing to kind of
okay.
have them with me on the journey in Israel.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah. It's not because, especially with COVID, not everyone is able to have someone go over to support them. So
that's
that's really good that you get to have family go over. You
mhm,
can also give them spare suitcases, Nora. In case
yeah.
your 3 suitcases is not enough, you can give them suitcases to smuggle over for you. I've heard of pageant
Mhm,
girls like they have 1, 2, or 3 people going over, and all their suitcases are actually for the pageant girl. So it's not 3 suitcases; it ends up being like 10 suitcases. So you can
mhm.
do that. That's a little tip for you.
That is so
Uh,
cool.
Something to keep in mind. All
Mhm.
right. Well, Nora, let's go through to the final 10 questions. Same 10 questions I end every interview with. You can
Okay.
answer them quickly, you can take your time, whatever you want. Okay. So, first question is, what is your favorite word?
That must be love, I think. Yes, because love is important for everyone actually. So it must be love.
What is the Norwegian word for love?
It's kjærlighet.
Kjærlighet. Going to
You
need to
cannot say.
work on my Norwegian. I find the sounds very difficult to make. It's very different to English.
Mhm.
Okay. Number 2, what is your least favorite word?
My, may you repeat the question?
Least favorite. So you had your favorite word.
Okay.
What's the word that you hate the most?
Um, I think that must be when people are telling that they are not able to do something, and
Okay.
a word for that. I'm not sure what it be will be in English, but yeah, when people don't believe in it themselves, a word for that. I think it must be something like that.
Okay. I've had some people answer I can't as their
Yeah.
least favorite word. So probably I can't. Question 3, in life, what gets you excited?
I think I'm the kind of person who loves to do things that I'm a little bit scared for. And I'm
Hmm.
getting really excited when I actually dare to do it and actually do it. And that makes me feel really excited, actually. And yeah, I think that's the thing that makes me most excited.
What's the scariest thing you've done? Have you skydived, jumped off a building, something like that?
I think the scariest thing I gotta do is Miss Universe, but
That's true. That's probably true. Skydiving is easy compared to Miss Universe. I mean, you don't have to think about skydiving. You just jump out the plane and there you are. Okay. So that was what gets you excited. What about what? So that's what turns you on. This is an English phrase. So question 4 is what turns you off, or what really do you not like?
I really don't like when people are telling you that something is impossible. That's something I really don't like. Because when you're hearing that, you maybe start to believe it over time if people are telling it to you enough times. Or if people are telling it to themselves, I don't really like that.
Mm,
Because you are drawing like yourself down, and that's not
mm.
necessary in life. You should practice talking to yourself as your best friend actually, and be careful with your words and thoughts.
When someone tells you that you can't do something, does that
Yeah.
make you want to go and do it to prove them wrong?
Um, sometimes I'm a little bit kind of that person, so I think so.
Yeah, I can see that because you got quite excited about talking about that. So I thought that must be you. Question 5, what sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of Christmas. We have a
Oops.
little, some when you're putting up some candlelights, and there's some
Mm,
angels spinning around when the candlelight is standing under, and the
yeah,
cling 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 sound that the angels are making. I think
yeah.
actually that is my favorite sound because it reminds me of my family and Christmas traditions, and when everyone is together and having such a great time together. So I think that little bell from the candlelight
Hmm.
angels is such a beautiful
Hmm.
thing that reminds me of something beautiful.
What's the Norwegian word for Christmas?
It's Yule.
Oh, Yule. Okay. All right. That we kind of have that in English. All right. So there's a Norwegian word that I can finally pronounce. Yule. Dear. Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Um, I hate the sound of people who disagree with each other, screaming to each other, and when they are out loud, or when two people
Mm,
are arguing out loud to each other. That's something I really hate because it's not necessary to really scream to each other to have a conversation if you disagree with someone. So that is something I really hate.
that's very, very true. Don't go to New York then. If you don't like people yelling out loud, don't go to New York. That's all I'm going to say. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Oh, one superpower. Um, that must be to go, backward and forward in time, because
Oh,
then you
okay.
can
Time travel.
time travel. Yes, because you can go back in life and change things you've done to others or done to yourself or anything, and make the mistakes you see when you get older, or
Mm.
you can go back and don't do them, or you know make it not happen if you can time travel. So yeah.
Whenever anyone says time travel, I'm always surprised they don't say that they want to go forwards in time, hear the lotto numbers, the lottery numbers, and then come back in time and win the lottery.
That's
That's what
smart.
I would do.
That's that's such a great idea.
I've given it a lot of thought. Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt? Would you most like to try?
um Actually, I would love to be influencing people here in Norway, someone who is we have the democracy here in Norway,
Mm,
and we're having, people speaking from the capital here in Norway. And I would love to try one of that roles and maybe speak for the climate changes. We have one person there today speaking about the climate changes, and I would love to,
hmm
try that role and influence the youth mostly, but also the grown generation with
mm.
things I think the youth generation is believing in today, because they who are sitting there today is a little bit older than my generation, and I think the young generation today has a lot of things to come with and to influence their with. So I think I would love to try that job.
Nice. Okay. Question 9. What job would you definitely not like to attempt?
Hmm, what could that be? I have never thought about that before, actually. But I'm really curious as person, and for me, I mostly like to try everything. But
That's
I'm not
fair enough.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe policeman, because I'm not that strong, and as in my body. So if I have to hold someone back for not doing anything, I think they will let go really quick. So I don't think I could be a
Okay.
really good policeman if I have to be like, yeah, physical
Okay.
and yeah. Hmm.
Okay. That's fair enough. So you're not going to be arresting someone anytime soon?
No, I don't think that's.
Okay. Fair enough. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at heaven or you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would like to hear him say that all the people you care about has it beautiful on Earth, and they're still having, a lovely life filled with happiness and everything. And yeah, and for the more bigger picture, I would love to hear him say that we are spreading more love on Earth, and the war will stop, and we will change into a more lovely society instead of, yeah. So we will let the love grow on Earth.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Nora, that is about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much too.
And best of luck over in Israel. I'm sure you're going to have an amazing time. And then when you come back, I'm sure you're going to sleep for about a month.
I think so too.
Well, you only get to do Miss Universe once, don't you? So you got to give it your all, and then afterwards you can sleep. And then it will be 2022, believe it or not. That's crazy.
That's crazy. It is.
Well, I will keep you with me for a second whilst I hang up with the audience. But thanks to everyone for watching, whether it's live or on the replay. And we will speak to you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Sorority Access is now open. So if you'd like to join an amazing group of women and learn how to be the most powerful, confident, and impactful queen possible, head to thepageantsorority.com. I'll see you there and see you in the next video.